Breaking news from the National Football League draft prep. As the off-season continues, all attention is shifting toward the upcoming NFL draft, where the future of the league is about to be decided. Scouts from every team are working non-stop, studying film, analyzing player performances, and preparing final evaluations that will shape their draft boards. Right now, the pressure is increasing every single day. Every workout, every interview, and every practice session can completely change how a player is viewed by NFL teams. Some prospects are rising fast, while others are starting to fall depending on their consistency and performance under pressure. One of the most talked about names in this draft cycle is quarterback Shedeur Sanders. He continues to attract major attention from scouts and analysts across the league. His ability to stay calm in the pocket, make quick decisions, and deliver accurate throws has made him one of the most closely watched quarterback prospects in this class. Teams are carefully studying every detail of his game, from his mechanics to his decision-making under pressure. But even with all the attention, the evaluation process is still ongoing. NFL teams are not just looking at talent, they are also looking at mental strength, leadership, and the ability to perform in the biggest moments. For quarterbacks especially, the margin for error is extremely small. As the draft approaches, team needs are becoming clearer. Many franchises are focusing on key positions like quarterback, offensive line, edge rusher, and wide receiver. These are the positions that often define the success or failure of a team in the long term. At the same time, the draft board is constantly changing. A single strong performance at a pro day or combine event can move a player up several spots, while a poor showing can have the opposite effect. This is what makes the NFL draft process so unpredictable and exciting. Right now, everything is building toward draft day, where teams will finally make their decisions and players will hear their names called for the first time in their professional careers. The pressure is real, the stakes are high, and the future of the league is about to take shape. As the NFL draft process continues, more players are starting to rise on draft boards, while others begin to lose momentum. Every single week brings new changes, and nothing is guaranteed until the final selection is made on draft day. Scouts are now focusing heavily on consistency. It is not just about one good performance anymore. Teams want to see players who can repeat success, handle pressure, and stay steady in every situation. This is where many prospects separate themselves from the rest of the class. Private workouts are becoming extremely important at this stage. NFL teams are inviting top prospects for individual sessions where they can closely evaluate their skills. Every throw, every movement, and every decision is being recorded and analyzed in detail. Even small mistakes can raise concerns, while strong performances can significantly boost a player's draft stock. Quarterbacks are still at the center of attention in this process. The demand for a franchise quarterback is always high, and teams are willing to take major risks to secure the right player. The entire draft strategy of some franchises can change, depending on how they evaluate the top quarterback prospects. One of the key names still under heavy evaluation is Shedeur Sanders. He continues to be studied closely by multiple teams who are trying to determine how his game will translate to the professional level. His poise under pressure and ability to read defenses are strong points, but teams are still looking deeper into his overall readiness for the NFL pace and physicality. At the same time, other positions are also gaining attention. Wide receivers who can create separation, offensive linemen who can protect the quarterback, and defensive players who can disrupt plays are all becoming extremely valuable. Teams understand that building a complete roster requires more than just one star player. As the draft gets closer, interviews are also playing a major role. Teams are spending time with prospects not just to evaluate their skills, but to understand their mindset, discipline, and personality. Football intelligence and character are becoming just as important as athletic ability. Every decision made in this phase can have long-term consequences. A wrong evaluation can set a franchise back for years, while a smart selection can change the future of a team completely. The tension is rising, the evaluations are becoming final, and the countdown to draft day is getting shorter. Everything is moving fast, and the NFL world is watching closely as the next generation of stars prepares to enter the league. As the NFL draft continues to approach, trade rumors are starting to heat up across the league. Teams are not only focused on selecting players, but also on finding opportunities to move up or down in the draft order. Every front office is watching closely, trying to find the perfect deal that could change their future. Some franchises are quietly preparing aggressive moves. When a team believes a franchise-changing player is available, they are often willing to trade future picks in order to secure that talent. This kind of decision can reshape an organization for years, either in a positive way or sometimes as a long-term risk. At the same time, draft boards inside NFL teams are becoming more final. Scouts and coaches are meeting constantly, debating player rankings, comparing strengths and weaknesses, and trying to agree on the best possible selections. These discussions are intense because every person in the room understands how important these decisions are. The quarterback conversation is still one of the biggest topics in the entire draft process. Teams without a stable quarterback are under extreme pressure to find their future leader. This is why quarterbacks often get pushed up the draft board, sometimes even higher than expected, because the value of the position is so important in today's NFL. Shedeur Sanders remains one of the most discussed names in this conversation. Teams continue to evaluate his game from every angle, studying how he performs under pressure, how he manages the offense, and how his skills will translate to the professional level. The attention around him continues to grow as draft day gets closer. Meanwhile, other prospects are also making strong impressions during final workouts. Some players are surprising scouts with improved speed, better technique, or stronger performances than expected. These late developments can have a big impact on final draft rankings. As the tension builds, every detail matters more than ever. One strong workout can increase a player's value, while one bad interview or poor performance can create doubt inside a team's evaluation process. The NFL draft is no longer just about talent alone. It is about timing, fit, strategy, and confidence in future potential. Teams are trying to predict not just who the best players are today, but who will become the most valuable players in the future. And as everything moves closer to draft day, the pressure continues to rise across the entire league, with every franchise preparing for the moment where decisions will define their next era. Draft day is getting closer, and the energy around the league is reaching its highest point. Every organization is now fully locked in on final decisions, with hours of film study, last-minute meetings, and intense discussions shaping what will happen when the draft begins. Across the league, tension is building inside front offices. Some teams feel confident about their picks, while others are still debating between multiple prospects for the same position. In this stage, even small details can completely change a decision. Workouts and interviews are now the final pieces of the puzzle. Teams are trying to understand not just how players perform on the field, but how they think under pressure, how they respond to coaching, and how they handle expectations at the highest level. Quarterbacks remain the most important focus in the entire process. The demand for a long-term leader at that position is always strong, and franchises without stability there are often forced to take bold risks on draft night. That pressure affects the entire draft order. Shedeur Sanders continues to be part of that conversation as teams finalize their evaluations. His film, his decision-making, and his composure are all being reviewed in detail as organizations try to project how his game will translate to the professional level. Meanwhile, other prospects are quietly rising in value. Some players are finishing the pre-draft process with strong performances that are changing opinions inside scouting departments. These late improvements can be the difference between a mid-round selection and a first-round opportunity. Not every prediction made months ago will match what actually happens on draft night. That uncertainty is what makes this process so unpredictable. Teams adjust constantly, reacting to new information right up until their pick is announced. When the moment finally arrives, everything will move fast. Years of preparation will come down to seconds on the clock, and every franchise will be forced to trust their final judgment. What happens next will define careers, reshape teams, and set the direction of the league for years to come.